The Great Pyrenees lay in the path between the front door and the baby's room for 11 days. They kept stepping over him. On day 12, the locksmith came for an unrelated reason and said something about the front door that made 11 days suddenly make sense. Finn was a 3-year-old Great Pyrenees. He weighed 108 pounds and occupied space with the specific authority of a dog who had decided that wherever he was lying was the correct place to be lying. He was not a dramatic dog. He was a settled dog with settled opinions about what required his attention. What required his attention, beginning on a Thursday in September, was the hallway between the front door and 9-month-old Eira's room. He lay there during the day. He lay there in the evening. He lay there when the Hendersons had guests who had to navigate around him. He lay there when their 3-year-old daughter, Mara, said, "Finn, move," 17 times, and he absorbed each request with the patience of someone who has heard you but respectfully disagrees. James Henderson said he found a comfortable spot. His wife Anya said he has 15 comfortable spots. He's been in this specific one every day for 11 days. James said he'll move on. He did not move on. On day 12, a locksmith came to the house for a separate matter, a broken lock on the back gate. While there, Anya mentioned the front door had felt slightly stiff for the past few weeks and asked if he could take a look. The locksmith, a man named Bernard Quill, examined the front door. He found that the door's deadbolt throw, the bolt that extended into the door frame strike plate, had been slowly retracting over several weeks due to worn internal mechanism. The bolt was currently extending to approximately 40% of its design depth. At full wear, the door would lock in appearance, but not in fact. He said if someone leaned on this door with moderate force, it would open. Has been heading this way for a while. Anya looked at the hallway, at Finn in the hallway. She said, "How long?" Bernard examined the mechanism. He said, "The wear pattern suggests 6 to 8 weeks of progressive failure, 3 to 4 weeks to reach current state." Finn had been in the hallway for 11 days. She asked Bernard, "Can dogs detect a failing door lock?" He looked at her. He said, "They can detect air movement through an improperly sealed door and gap changes from a poorly extended bolt. A poorly locked door has a different acoustic and air signature than a properly locked one. A dog with guardian instinct and high environmental sensitivity would register that as an anomaly in its territory's perimeter." He said, "I've heard this before. Not often, but I've heard it. Has your dog ever consistently positioned themselves between the front entry and the family's sleeping area in a way that turned out to have a reason? Tell us in the comments. These stories deserve to be heard." The deadbolt mechanism was replaced. The door sealed correctly. Finn moved from the hallway that evening and returned to his rotation of the 15 comfortable spots throughout the house. If you stay for stories about what animals sense before we do, you're in the right place. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Every guardian deserves to be recognized, even the ones who never asked for anything in return. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. Anya thinks about 11 days of stepping over a 108-pound dog. She thinks about how many times they said he'd found a comfortable spot. She thinks about the 40% bolt throw and the acoustic signature of a door that looks locked and isn't. She thinks about Eira's room, 6 feet from where Finn lay. He was not comfortable. He was on duty. And nobody asked him why until a locksmith arrived for a different reason and answered the question nobody had thought to ask. Next, the golden retriever who began sleeping with his head on the baby's blanket every night, and what the pulmonologist said about what he had been breathing in.